Oh, by the way, I've cracked the code. I figured out these shadow organizations, and the Illuminati know that they're finally primed for world domination.
Welcome to Mystery Shack Look Back, a nostalgic time capsule and no-spoiler book club of the original Gravity Falls fandom. We are your curators. I'm Charlie.
I'm Ella.
And I am your docent, Shelby.
So are we talking about Gravity Falls today? Because I feel like...
Well, there's a number of things I'm noticing are off.
Yeah.
For one, it's Friday.
Yeah. That's true. Normally this podcast releases on Wednesday.
Now, normally it being Friday means all is right with the world.
Yeah, I know people tend to get a little religious about when Friday comes. That's how much people enjoy it.
TGIF. Thank Ganesh it's Friday.
Yeah. Maybe Friday is the new Monday, and that is the conspiracy.
Well, speaking of conspiracies, what are we talking about today, Ella?
Oh, well, we're talking about the new series, as in, like, just dropped today on Netflix. The new series Inside Job from Gravity Falls writer Shion Takeuchi.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one that Alex Hirsch is credited as a producer on.
That is correct.
Although he seems to believe he was more the Mothman advisor.
Which isn't that all of our just goal in life?
I don't doubt it. Yeah, I feel like that's the position that you angle for in animation. You know, dress for the job you want. That's why he dressed as Mothman every day.
Yeah, he there was a tweet by him that said, I was the producer, which mostly meant, can there be more Mothman in this scene? And he promises us that there is more Mothman in the show than there would have been without his guidance.
Yeah, gotcha. So this is our first bonus episode, sort of an episode that is off of the official episode count, that is purely a side mission that is covering something. Might be Gravity Falls adjacent, might not be. I mean, obviously, this one is very much connected to Gravity Falls with the crew, and also, you know, Gravity Falls fans. You know, the show is basically all about conspiracy theories and a world where all conspiracy theories are true. It's exploring what is it like to work at the agency that creates those theories. At least I think that's what it's about. We haven't watched it yet.
They basically work at a giant hall of conspiracies, huh?
It's true, they do. But my point was going to be that Gravity Falls fans are obviously no stranger to conspiracy theories. There's not really any particular episode of Gravity Falls that would be ideal for me to bring this up, so I do want to briefly run by it now, since it's relevant. I think around 2014 or 2015, a video circulated of a preacher delivering a sermon with, you know, a big screen that was basically exposing, in quotes, Gravity Falls for its subliminal messages. And, well, what it reminds me of is a tweet that Alex Hirsch made before this.
I love this tweet.
That was like, you know, many have accused me of hiding occult symbols in my children's cartoon. This is completely wrong. They're not hidden at all. They're in plain sight, silly. But no, I gotta insert a few clips. If you have not seen this video, it is simultaneously soul-crushing and hilarious at the same time somehow.
What you're getting ready to see here is a cartoon called Gravity Falls. What's the satanic implications in this cartoon? See the Grand Masonic Lodge guy here running the show? What's the all-seeing eye in the pyramid? Look at the pyramid. Look at the book they have to read. Floating eyeballs, they're watching you. Trust no one. You don't want to get pregnant by a zombie? If you lost your mind, you'll have Satan's child.
There's even a few clips of Alex Hirsch guesting on a podcast, not this podcast, a different podcast, and
oh man,
referencing the video. So here's his impression.
You see that there? You see that there? Now that's a triangle. What does that mean, folks? What does that mean? Yeah, I heard one. Yeah. It's from the Disney cartoon Gravity Falls. Can I hear anyone? What is that over there? That's a 666 in the background. Is that familiar to any of you?
we have never seen this.
Yeah, this is the first time that nobody in the podcast has watched what we are about to watch.
Yes.
And I'm willing to bet, because it just came out today, none of the listeners have seen it either. So, I guess we're about to dig into it. When we're playing the promo, that's when you can pause and go seek out the episode for yourself. It's on Netflix. Just look up Inside Job.
That's right. We're trans, so we're allowed to use Netflix.
Yes.
So if you're not, I would say get permission from your nearest trans person.
Oh, that's right.
Ask your trans person's permission before going online.
I saw... Sorry for getting more sidetracked. I saw a comment on TikTok yesterday that was like, if they can't handle Dave Chappelle's special, they're gonna hate Blazing Saddles. And I'm like, I don't think it occurred to me until now that people think the status quo has always existed this way.
It's funny to me that people think that Blazing Saddles is not about a bunch of Jewish people and black people making a commentary on the racism that existed in Hollywood and single-handedly bringing down the cowboy genre.
No, but obviously the world that is affected by Blazing Saddles existed even before Blazing Saddles came out somehow.
And yes, a lot of people were offended by Blazing Saddles when it came out. White people. They know that, right? They know that is the demographic it was trying to and succeeded in offending, right? And that they also know that Mel Brooks got Richard Pryor to co-write it so he wasn't speaking for black people, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, speaking of God, this is... Nope, not gonna say it.
Yeah. Yeah, so this show makes Ella a little uncomfortable because conspiracy theorists are ruining the actual world around us.
It's true. I was definitely hesitant to touch this series on the podcast because I don't think... I mean, you could probably get into it after the episode, but I don't know if conspiracy theories are that funny anymore. But let's find out.
I don't know. I think the people that believe in conspiracy theories are a little funny, unironically.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough.
All right, we're about to watch Inside Job, Episode 1, Unprecedented?
Unprecedented.
Sorry, didn't enunciate that clear enough to convey the pun.
Yeah.
You can go find it on your own on Netflix, and so our discussion will contain spoilers for Episode 1, so I recommend you go find it on your own.
Have you ever wondered who really runs the world? Everything you know is a lie, and the people who are really in control are...
Jesus, can we turn on the lights for once?
Some of us have hangovers, all right?
Our office manages every conspiracy in the world. Can you manage to show up on time?
Reagan Ridley! You are so smart, but your people skills, woof!
Everyone remember to do time card! Time card!
That's why I brought in someone to co-lead the team.
Brett Hand, thrilled to be serving whoever gives me approval.
You're just some yes man.
Yes, man.
These people are trying to push you out of the company just like he did to me.
Dad, you weren't pushed out. You were fired. You almost exposed the deep state because you wanted a ride to Wetzel's Pretzels. You're lucky I called the snipers off. Gary, no. No. Ha ha. Save it for stand-up night, Gary.
All right. We just watched Inside Job.
Episode 1, Unprecedented.
That's right. Gotta get that pun in there. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. It was fun.
I think it helps to watch it with the gang, for sure.
The gang? I just came up with that!
There was only one or two times where I was really reminded of reality. The rest is exaggerated enough that I feel like I was able to not think about depressing things.
Anyway, in Shion Takeuchi's new show, which has been called by many on Twitter, Alex Hirsch's new show, it is about a woman who worked very hard to get where she is, getting
basically usurped by a white man not doing nearly as much work.
Straight out of college, not knowing what he's doing.
A white man hired straight out of college is put to collaborate with her in her department.
I didn't even think about the connection to the fan responses, because literally in the episode, it's like they're looking at Reagan Ridley, the main character, and they're thanking Brett. They're like, yeah, wow, got a nice, good call, Brett. Which is like exactly like how on Twitter everyone's like, I can't wait for Alex's new show.
I will say there was only one appearance of Mothman in this episode.
That we know of.
And by the way, Brett is not an unpleasant character.
No, he's pretty adorable.
Brett is no thoughts, head empty. Brett is a puppy.
Yeah, like, he's not qualified to work a job, but, like, there was not one person in the show, even the misanthrope Reagan, who does not feel happier with Brett around.
It's also that it's a lot like, I said he reminds me of Buzz Lightyear. It's like that dynamic of, like, one character is just so full of rage and envy, and it is only worsened by the fact that the person they're envious of is just a decent person. Like, they're just very, like, Buzz is not a jerk. Buzz is just doing his best with what he is aware of.
The hardest part about this for Reagan is probably that there is literally nothing to dislike about him.
Yeah, which is why it's such a great scene where she tries to find a conspiracy about him, and we're just literally talking to her directly like, no, there's no conspiracy. He's just a white man in a society that...
There's a scene where he has to sneak past every single member of the Secret Service.
Yeah.
And does it one by one just by saying, hey, you're off duty, it's my turn. And they just trust him. And
because he knows their secret white handshake.
yes, he joined every frat.
Frats are like the highest concentration of white men that you'll ever find.
He also was both a goth and a jock. So basically...
That was such a good... Yeah, there's so many, like, wonderful little bits of dialogue and visual gags that are, again, disconnected enough and exaggerated from the basis of the premise that I'm not like, oh, conspiracy theorists are ruining everything in real life for real. This isn't that funny, but no, it is.
One of my favorite jokes about that is when they have a aerosol can of jet fuel. They say, oh, this can't melt anything.
The number of times that she allowed them to taser her dad, just at 3%.
Lightly.
Lightly taser my dad.
Not higher than a 3, guys.
The dad is basically just Grunkle Stan and Rick.
Yeah.
I love Christian Slater's voice is like, I don't know, it's not like, ooh, it's that smooth like honey, but it's like, that's like sandpaper, but I enjoy the experience.
Who was Christian Slater voicing in this?
Christian Slater's
he's the dad
from Heathers.
Yes.
And he's on Milo Murphy's Law and a bunch of
I know
other
who he
things
is. He's the
animated.
person that sounded a lot like Jack Nicholson in his teens.
Yeah, he was just doing a Jack Nicholson impression in Heathers, and just entirely.
And for reasons I cannot assess, also as the older brother in The Wizard, the pinball wizard about Nintendo games.
Yeah.
As Fred Savage's older brother, he's like, listen, we gotta find him at the Nintendo tournament. It's like, well, that's not necessary in this movie. It makes sense in Heathers.
Is he the guy who says, I love the Power Glove, or is that a different kid?
No, that's the bully, Lucas.
Okay, it's so bad. I was trying not to constantly make comparisons to Gravity Falls because that's what leads people to think that it's Alex Hirsch's show, which again we've discussed as an issue, but it does feel like with Reagan's dad, it's everything they wanted to write Grunkle Stan to say, but couldn't. Like, every, rejected Grunkle Stan line ends up in his dialogue.
Yeah, whenever S&P said no to a Grunkle Stan line,
they put it in a folder.
It went down a tube into the S&P dungeon, and Shion and Alex broke in and...
Yeah, sort of a heist. Yeah, they're like, all right, we need some dialogue. I know where to find it.
Where Alex used his white man powers to get
Alex was able to break into Disney by quoting Simpsons and everyone laughing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Alex just breaks in, walks into a room full of security guards and is like, "Hi, everybody."
I remember when that happened on a different show. That's really funny. How would you like the keys to Disney?
And then they all laugh, and then Shion just is able to sneak past.
Just to quickly go over the plot before we get any further. So we have Reagan Ridley is angling to run, I guess, her division of Cognito Inc., which is the
deep state.
Well, no, I didn't realize that the premise is that not that they've been controlling things, but that they're basically like a startup that has been hired by the people controlling things.
Yes.
Like,
The shadowy overlords have contracted the services of Cognito Inc.
yeah, which is so funny and so late stage capitalism that it feels like it could happen. And Reagan Ridley has basically been usurped by Brett Hand, who is a, like, by the show's own words, a mediocre white man that shows up out of the blue, and everyone likes better than
Just
her.
managed to make JR, the president, laugh at a barbecue?
Yeah, something like that.
And then, I'm gonna call you J Money. I do like money.
And everyone in the office is attracted to Brett.
Yes, we didn't really get to know the rest of the cohorts in the office. They are, as far as this first episode, kind of one note, but I should note that the entire, I guess, what are they calling it? Part 1? Just call it the half of the season. They dropped all of that batch today. We are only talking about the first episode, but I imagine they will get more into those side characters.
We should probably set up a section in our Discord for people who are caught up to discuss it, like a
Yeah,
that's a good
Inside Job
plan.
spoilers chat.
yeah, but yeah, we've got John DiMaggio as like a lizard person. He's disrespecting our brave autopilots.
I think he was a dolphin person, actually.
Oh no, that's right. He's a dolphin. Yeah.
We got Greg Griffin. There's a lot of Gravity Falls voices we noticed.
Yeah, but it felt like a family reunion, or like just seeing old friends or hearing old friends, because I was just like, oh, hey Alex, hey Gray. Like,
I love how Brett is clearly like a parody of Alex and the other Gravity Falls staff hired straight out of college, and Alex is like down with it, like on the series helping make the jokes about how privileged he is.
yeah, no, it's very humble and self-aware of like, yeah, that's right. And it's not even, we're not even reading too much into it. It's right there. Like, it's in the text.
It's very specifically a parody of, like, him and Mike Rianda and was it Jeff Rowe?
Jeff Rowe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said the push-ups was...
Yeah, Jeff Rowe would just do push-ups.
And he looks a lot like Jeff Rowe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does barge in with bagels like we know Mike Rianda would, so.
I love that it's also, that it's bagels. Like, it's not even like, I brought donuts. It's like bagels.
I would actually prefer if a coworker brought in bagels.
Yeah. I just feel like that's an unpopular opinion.
I disagree. I think donuts is like, well, I mean, the sugar crash, right? Like, you want to have energy at work. Like, donuts feels like an end of work
all right,
day
good
thing.
point. And you know what? Yeah, because Brett was partially a jock, I'm sure he understands that. He's like, no, you need good carbs.
You gotta
bro.
carb
you
up.
Need to...
Brett has never
Yeah.
eaten sugar in his life.
Yo,
No.
bagels are so much more expensive, too, so that right there is a white privilege.
They're primo, yeah.
He wouldn't have gotten his first paycheck yet.
Then you'll be the one with Cheeto dust on your pants.
I like the Cheeto dust on the pants. That was a nice design choice.
And I like that he said, you will be wearing these Cheeto dust pants. And it's like, no, she wouldn't. Those are your pants. Those weren't assigned to you because you got
When he texts
fired.
her at the end, and one of the texts is just Downton Abbey, like he thought it was Google or Netflix.
I also love when they log the robot president into Facebook to try to get him to no longer want to protect America.
Yep, and it works. But he wants to destroy all of humanity.
Now he wants to destroy all humanity, which is actually a fairly rational response to Facebook.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe it relates to how much I love that Reagan is just a complete misanthrope, because it's like a representation of how I feel thinking about real life conspiracy theorists that are ruining everyone's lives.
I love Reagan so much. I mean, what you really need to...
I know.
What you really need to sell a series is you need likable main characters. That's what's going to get you going better than a good premise would. And I adore Reagan and Brett, so I'm excited to watch more of this.
Brett is absurdly likable, and Reagan is absurdly unlikable, but
Reagan just has so many personality issues.
I love her more than Brett.
Clearly no interest in fixing them.
Yeah, I think...
I love the dark circles under her eyes, because that's relatable as all get out.
And as a feminist, I think we need female protagonists who are just evil. She's just evil. She's not...
Sometimes, yeah.
She's not like a nice or good person, but that's fine. She doesn't really care about that. And even when the robot president that she invented has run amok and is planning to annihilate all humanity, a little piece of her is like, I made that.
It's my baby. It's my child.
And even Brett, who is trying to help her save humanity, is like, compliments her on the work on the president robot.
It's...
There's this impulse when trying to write more positive female characters than the one-dimensional, what do they call them? Sexy lamps? Do you know about the sexy
lamps?
Do you know about the sexy lamp theory or whatever?
The sexy lamp test, yeah.
Yeah. So there's this impulse to like just write the female character as just like better than the male characters in every way, like Fiona disorder.
Yeah, a quote-unquote strong female character.
Yeah.
Whereas like writing the straight white male as completely likable and the female lead as just having a collection of personality issues, but still making them likable
on the same level somehow.
They feel human.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
And Reagan is so unlikable that she's likable, and Brett is so likable that he's likable.
I feel like a lot of people are gonna draw comparisons to Rick with her just simply because of things like "suck my dick." Being
and she
said.
kind of, I mean, I guess it's also the way she dresses, but
Yeah, but I think that she's a much more likable character than Rick ever has been.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
None of her personality flaws are like out there. It's not like, ooh, I hope I never meet someone like that. It's more like, I do that sometimes.
Exactly.
Oops.
That's literally, especially like I said, thinking about how nihilistic I'm feeling about the real life conspiracy theory stuff. I'm like, yeah, like that's that side of me that comes out when I think about that. When I'm just like, everyone is an idiot. Like that's very real.
I remember when the female remake of Ghostbusters came out, Chris Hemsworth plays a similar character in Kevin.
Oh my gosh, he's so funny in that movie.
Move over, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pine, Chris Spring, Chris.
But a lot of men complained about the Kevin character because they said he's too stupid to live and it's insulting to men. I don't think anyone is gonna feel uncomfortable watching Brett. He's adorable.
No,
He's
yeah,
so
exactly.
cute.
It doesn't feel like an attack. I mean, it's just it's a healthy criticism of.
No, I mean, yeah, you, the viewer watching this is like, on the one hand, he's not qualified to be working in this position. On the other hand, God, I wish he was real so I could hire him.
I want to get him a present.
I know. Let's get
him a present. And yeah, it's. I should note also, Shelby reminded me that this is an adult show. If you're listening to this podcast, you're a fan of Gravity Falls probably, but this is like explicitly an adult show.
You should be able to pause on the first frame of it, and it should give you content warnings on Netflix. If you're under 18, just run those content warnings by your parents, and if they're cool with it, watch it.
There's smoking and there's cursing.
Or maybe your parents don't know anything, so I don't know. Use your own judgment.
Yeah, I'm just saying what reasonably the ideal.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
We were talking about the animation style and how it's much more in that Rick and Morty kind of feel to it than Gravity Falls, which I think it's the spin-off shows from Gravity Falls have more of a like style that elaborates on it. Like Amphibia has a similar style, but it's not exactly Gravity Falls. It riffs on it in a different way. I feel like this one does the same thing.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. It's also this show is puppet animated, which is basically there are it looks like Adobe Animate.
I know, it's so nostalgic. It looks like a legendary frog cartoon.
Some of the rigging was really smooth, though, which was nice.
Oh, no, yeah.
It does look better than... Something that bothers me in BoJack Horseman is there's these really dramatic scenes in which there are mitten hands that don't ever move the fingers, and it's, like, distracting to me.
I get that.
And I don't really get that here. It feels a little more fluid.
Because I know Rick and Morty is animated in Toon Boom Harmony, so this might also be in that, but it also might be Adobe Animate, formerly Flash, RIP.
Never forget.
But yeah, it's really, there are some great... Even the, like Shelby said, the suck my moment has some very fluid animation.
Yeah, that was the one I was like, oh, wow, that was smooth.
And they separate the fingers a lot, like Charlie was saying. There's a lot of good hand poses. I just got off of an internship working on a show in Adobe Animate, Teenage Euthanasia, if you want to check it out on Adult Swim. It's also an adult cartoon, and it's not to everyone's taste, but I think it's, it's a good time. No, but that's why I was specifically looking at that kind of stuff, and it's very impressive. Also, I remembered what I was going to say earlier.
All right,
good.
This was regarding the how people try to rework their female characters is like, I feel like this is a step above the strong female character in quotes, but it's the very peppy, like, go-getter female character. Like Mabel. But of course, Mabel is based on a real person, so that's kind of different. But then it feels like every Disney cartoon has that lead female character who is all like energy and smiles, and Reagan is the opposite.
The Webby Vanderquack. Yeah, I feel like Shion probably the reason why Reagan feels so much more human is I think that Shion brings a lot of herself into it. Given that one crew picture that we have, she's over in the corner maniacally laughing.
Yeah, go look up Gravity Falls writers on Google Images. We'll probably also put it on our Instagram. There's a famous picture they took in the writer's room of script pages flying everywhere. And Shion is just off in the corner maniacally laughing.
Probably Twitter. It's easier to tweet pictures than post them to Instagram, but yeah.
We know everyone else is accurate because Alex looks exhausted, and Matt, who famously accidentally did the line spacing wrong and wrote a feature-length episode,
which we talked about earlier this week.
We did.
Is clinging to Alex like,
Alex,
what do I do?
I need help. Alex, I threw up.
And Rob Renzetti, the babysitter of the staff, is just wagging his finger, reprimanding everyone. So, judging by how accurate those are, I think Shion maniacally laughing in the corner by herself is...
It's also like, I know there's a lot of talk about like the female gaze and like what would the female power fantasy look like, and I think in some ways it's kind of Reagan, because I know if someone told Reagan, you'd be prettier if you smiled more, she would murder him. She would blast him with a laser and disintegrate him.
Absolutely.
No, it's that women have to work harder to get the same jobs, and so they have to be a little more tenacious, and tenacity is not a trait admired in a woman.
I remember a friend of mine having a conversation about Rainbow Dash on My Little Pony, and about how people don't like Rainbow Dash because they think she's stuck up and full of herself. And my friend pointed out that if you said that about a male character, you would say he's confident. You wouldn't say that he's stuck up and narcissistic. So it's like those kind of criticisms only fall on female characters that have those traditionally male traits.
Do you guys know about Skylar White?
No.
Skylar White is Walter White's wife in Breaking Bad. Her main thing is that she doesn't want her husband of their newly born child to be cooking and selling meth.
That's a reasonable expectation.
And murdering people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's her whole thing. And a lot of the fandom hates her for it. They're like, oh, she's so whiny. And it's like...
No, she's a normal person.
No, that's a pretty... They think that's rational.
And I can't even imagine if it were a man who found out his wife was selling meth and killing people, and he was upset about that. I can't imagine anyone being
What a buzzkill, man. Getting in the way of this girl boss. Typical man.
I'm not saying that if Reagan were a man, she would be admirable. She does suck, and that's what we love about her.
I mean, the thing is, Reagan as a man is what we see in Rick and Morty, except that she's so much more human in this show about conspiracy theories.
Because she's not, like, literally God. She's a person who clearly has worked her whole life. Like, the establishing moment for her is, like, she built an actual iron fist, and it flips off her dad.
It just pops up with you.
It has, like, 3 middle fingers. So it's more, it feels more grounded, like you said, that she...
Yeah!
You believe that she started out as a normal person and just worked ridiculously hard and isolated everyone and became a misanthrope. Whereas Rick is like, he doesn't feel like he's from our world, you know?
Yeah. No, he's definitely got a god complex. I don't feel like, this could not be true in further episodes. We haven't watched them all. But she doesn't feel like she has a god complex. She feels like she's getting what she earned from her hard work. Not that she wants to be in control of the world because she deserves it.
Yes.
But that she worked
Well, I think she also feels that she deserves it, but not necessarily. Here's the difference.
Well, because she worked for it, not just...
Yes. And also I think it's that with Rick, it's like, I deserve to be in charge because I'm better than everyone else. And with Reagan, it's like, I deserve to be in charge because everyone is worse than me. I'm not good, but everyone else is worse. And that is another thing where I'm like, when I get in these, like, depressive mindsets, like, I'm like, yeah, you know, if I were running things, I'm not saying I'm good, but I'm saying I would be better than what is currently going on.
And I love that Brett, when he's actually working with Reagan and all he's really being is the charm, he's, you know, totally comfortable. But the second he's tasked with doing things he knows Reagan is better at, he looks like terrified.
He's a little lost puppy.
Oh yeah, the second they took Reagan off the job, he was freaking out. It was, which is relatable. When you don't know, when you're thrown into something because you're charming and you don't know what's going on and suddenly you're in charge. I think that's probably what would happen to most of us.
Yeah, I think Alex was 25 or 26 when Gravity Falls got greenlit. He said of him pitching the unaired pilot to Disney, I don't think they liked the pilot, but they liked me. Those were his exact words.
It's very hire this man energy.
Hire this man.
I will say I was very impressed by Lizzie Kaplan's performance, because I haven't seen her do anything since Mean Girls, and so her as Reagan, like, she did a really good job.
Who was she in Mean Girls?
She was the goth friend. She was
oh my god,
Janice.
yeah. She was great. All the performances were really good.
Apparently, both she and Clark Duke, who played Brett, were in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh. Maybe Reagan will build a Hot Tub Time Machine.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I guess the fact that it's on Netflix and it's an adult show, they're able to do more just, like, straight up name dropping of pop culture things. They don't have to, like, twist it.
Yeah.
So there's... My favorite background gag was just a poster of Kazaam starring Shaq. Like, they invent the Mandela effect stuff as well.
Well, Kazaam starring Shaq is a real movie.
Is it?
Yeah, Shazam starring Sinbad is the fake one, Ella. Kazaam starring Shaq is the real one.
But...
Yeah!
Oh, we're from different universes.
No, Ella, I promise you can look this up.
Well, okay, so the poster was for the real movie?
For a real movie that exists in our world, Ella. I promise.
I thought the joke was that the poster was for the
I
fake
was trying.
movie.
You don't even know which...
So Kazaam starring Shaq is a real one. Shazam starring Sinbad is the one that doesn't exist.
Okay, they must have gotten to me.
The poster in the episode was of the real movie,
well,
Ella.
That doesn't make sense. I thought it was the fake one.
Yeah, I didn't understand it either. I tried to ask about it, and you just
because you kept
sense.
asking where it was, and I didn't.
Well, yeah, it was cut off for me. But when you said, "Oh, Kazaam starring Shaq," I'm like, how is that a joke? Which is why I was curious about seeing it. Like, I'm like, is she misseeing this? Is it actually Sinbad?
Yeah, no, it was definitely Shaq and Kazaam, not Shazam starring Sinbad. So I think that nod to the Mandela effect was definitely intentional, though.
Maybe, yeah.
I know, definitely. Like,
no, yeah, you're
this
right.
is a show about conspiracy theories.
Oh, you know what? I bet's gonna happen. You know what? I'm gonna place money on that poster's gonna change in a couple episodes with no one addressing it.
I so hope so. Or they do a callback to it.
I mean, maybe it's just that it was right on the edge of the frame, so I wonder if maybe the rest of that background, like next to it, there's the other poster.
No, I think the poster, that specific poster is going to change next time we're in that location.
I liked the Mayan calendar out of order.
A janitor is mopping next to the Mayan calendar. This Mayan calendar ends today!
Got a kick out of the way he says, oh, yeah! And the voice of JR, I was like, I know I've heard that. You said that was Andy Daly?
Andy Daly, yes.
Yeah, Andy Daly's been on a ton of cartoons. He's on Rick and Morty as Krumbopolis Michael, the guy who just loves killing, doesn't matter who. And he's on Big City Greens as Officer Keys from the viral TikTok audio. Wow, that's no good! And he's wonderful. And he loves money.
I like how genuine his performance is. Like, everything he says is just like, I do love money. It's nice.
Yeah, he could easily be, like, the hard-ass boss. He just seems like it's similar vibes to Brett, where, you know, he probably shouldn't be where he is, but if he weren't in that position, he might be a decent guy.
This kind of reminds me of the Dilbert cartoon that Larry Charles made. In Dilbert, the rules of that universe are the less capable you are, the higher paid you are. So the pointy-haired boss is a complete idiot. Dilbert, who is just a low-level cubicle grunt, is of extremely above-average intelligence. And then the garbage man, who takes out Dilbert's garbage, voiced by Maurice LaMarche, is literally an all-knowing god.
Respect the janitor. Respect!
Yeah, there was a TikTok that we saw the other day that was like, you should show the janitor as much respect as you should the CEO, and someone stitched it and said, how dare you? How dare you? I would never spit in the janitor's face!
Now, I realize that I'm saying all this stuff about, like, how it didn't depress me because it wasn't too close to reality, but there are, like, several more episodes available, so it's possible that they get into more of that direct
it's
stuff.
Okay.
I know it's fine.
I like the
I know it's a funny show, and I feel safe watching it. It's just a little of that post-mortem, like, gotta stare at your hands for a little while.
Yeah, no, this, the world has really fallen into that. Yeah. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited for more Mothmen for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in the amount of Mothmen in this episode, Alex.
Same! Alex, what are you doing?
You're slacking a little, Alex.
Come on, I mean,
you had one
I realize
job.
a producer can only do so much, but
I will say what he lacked in Mothman for this episode, he made up for with self-deprecation.
With acknowledging his privilege to the extreme.
Yeah.
I appreciate that he does know that lending his name to something has helped other people that can't do that, like, can't get there on their own, get further up, because...
Yeah.
Again, like, as we mentioned with Owl House and with this specifically, he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm here being supportive. And everybody's like, Alex Hirsch in the Owl House. I was like, he's just voice acting in that.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm trying just to be, like, a supporter in the background. He's like, come on, guys, give credit to Dana Terrace and Shion Takeuchi, respectively.
What's funny about this is we're not even at the point in the podcast where Shion is on the Gravity Falls staff yet.
That picture has not been taken yet canonically within the show.
Yeah, but, I mean, I obviously love her work on Gravity Falls. She worked at Pixar on a few of their movies.
She wrote our favorite episode. We can't say the name of it yet, but...
Yeah.
She also worked on Regular Show. So she's probably, at this point in the podcast, working on Regular Show.
Yeah, if we're talking about episodes that happened in 2013, she might be at Pixar, maybe?
She might be, because Inside Out came out around that time, and she was working on animation for that.
She exclusively works on animated properties with Inside and then a 3-letter word.
Inside Jout. And Shion, if you're listening, come on the podcast.
We would love to have
Please,
you.
we love you.
We love you.
And clearly, like, you know, based on everything we've just said, people should talk more about Shion Takeuchi. I think she deserves to be front and center of her
Shion
series.
Takeuchi's new show, Inside Job.
You know who I am a fan of? Shion Takeuchi.
Yes, Shion Takeuchi is pretty top notch.
I think so. We have to say Shion Takeuchi a bunch of times to make up for all the times people called this Alex Hirsch's show.
Absolutely.
I also love that the tweet saying that all he did was add more Mothman. He's like trying to give himself less credit to make sure.
Yeah, he's actively diminishing his contributions.
Because it is her show, and being a showrunner is really hard. And she did a great job, clearly, just judging from the first episodes are hard, and that was great.
Yeah. And granted, you know, it's all inherently collaborative, so to call it any singular person's show is probably fundamentally inaccurate, but Shion Takeuchi is the showrunner, y'all. Like, that is a fact.
Yes, it is a collaboration by a bunch of people. It is designed by committee. However, if Shion slacks off, that committee doesn't show up and doesn't design anything.
I mean, what happened in the episode is
Boss
exactly
Mabel.
what you're talking about. No, I'm talking about in this episode where they got rid of essentially the showrunner.
The glue that holds everything together, yeah.
And
everything
everybody
kinda fell
started
apart.
slacking off and the world almost ended. So
don't you see? Without the showrunner, the robot president tries to destroy humanity.
Without the showrunner, everyone in the office is just going to drop Molly.
Yeah.
So, Shion,
And react
thank
very
you.
differently to it.
Very differently.
I'm so paranoid right now, you guys.
Hillary!
Hillary!
Maybe that's just what happens when dolphins do Molly.
Yeah.
I mean, if Alex Hirsch is the name that gets you to watch the show initially, so that you can appreciate Shion, I guess that's fine.
Yes, but I feel like even it feels like the knowledge that Shion worked on Gravity Falls should be enough, right?
No,
Gravity
because-
Falls is the name.
Yeah, no, I agree. Gravity Falls is the name. But people don't, like, if you say, oh, this is Shion Takeuchi's show, they're like, I don't know who that is. If you say she wrote on, say Gravity Falls writer Shion Takeuchi.
I understand on some level the confusion, because I know it is known that Alex Hirsch has his own contract with Netflix and is working on a show that he is the showrunner of that we don't know anything about yet.
And is an official member of the Illuminati.
Yes, that's also true. But I get why, because people probably wires got crossed, and it's like, oh, is this his show? But I also saw literal headlines that listed his name before Shion Takeuchi's name, and I'm like, guys, please.
100% the privilege of having that name recognition, yeah.
And how did he get that name recognition so early, I wonder?
Exactly how Brett did in this episode.
Yep.
Autobiographical, really.
Really.
It is. And I was gonna say I wonder if that was intentional, but
it definitely
was intentional.
It was. He literally said the phrase, "I don't think they liked the pilot, but they liked me."
You know, somehow through all that, there isn't like a pinch of malice in this.
No, in fact, by the end, Reagan really wants to keep Brett around because people don't listen to Reagan because Reagan is ornery.
She's like, HR said I'm difficult.
Yeah. So having someone around who is that charming is an asset to Reagan. And also, Brett doesn't dislike Reagan nearly as much as everyone else in the world does.
No, he's too stupid to dislike Reagan.
He also sees her strengths. Like, I feel like...
Yeah, no, he does give her credit where credit is due. Every time the robot does something really impressive, he's like, I can't believe you built that. That's awesome.
He credits her for things that no one else credits her for.
Autobiographical.
I mean, I really appreciate that, like, he can come in knowing nothing and still see that this is the person who should be in charge.
Yes. He is, because unlike everyone else, I don't want to say pure of heart, but there is something about him that is untainted, unlike everyone else in this workplace.
And he accepts that his role is to convince people that Reagan's ideas are good.
Yes.
And he wants to do that.
That's a good role, because that means that Reagan's ideas get work done. And that is good.
This is so... every sentence we're saying, analyzing their dynamic, it occurs to me more and more that this is just
You can just replace the names.
Shion
Yeah.
and Alex.
And like you said, it's not that Reagan has qualities that would be admirable in a man. Like, her qualities would still be terrible in a man.
Mhm.
But the fact that she is a woman in this workplace puts her at even more of a disadvantage and makes her unlikable, like, from the outset, labeled unlikable. Even some of us work hard to be unlikable, and you're just labeling her unlikable because she's a woman.
Yeah.
So we about ready to wrap up?
Yeah.
You know what? I think so. I think that's a good cap on our first bonus episode.
We're gonna bottle the Shazam genie.
Yep, you're not getting out this time, Sinbad.
He sinned too bad this time.
Yep.
If you want to find more episodes of this podcast, check out our host network, pipedreampodcasts.com, where you can also find other shows like Escape from Walt Disney, How Did This Not Get Made, and Come On Fahuquapots.
Normally we talk about Gravity Falls. That is the essence.
Yes.
That is the normal premise of Mystery Shack Look Back. But
we're going to set up a sub chat in our Discord for people who are caught up on Inside Job, and
yes,
a role request sort of thing where you unlock that channel if you ask for the role.
You can watch Inside Job on Netflix, or don't if you're not trans, I guess. I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a lot of things right now, chronologically. You're probably listening to this in the future. Well, no, you're not. You're listening to this on the same day, probably. If you keep up with the podcast when it releases.
Well, the Netflix boycott day was yesterday, so...
It was 2 days ago, yeah.
2 days ago. So, just be mindful while engaging with Netflix that, they are currently not listening to their trans employees.
Yeah, because normally we link to Disney Plus, and I'm sure on a corporate level, Disney listens to all their trans employees always.
Yeah, no, there was never been any doubt in mind that Disney is just incredibly nice.
Yeah.
By the way, to our listeners that might struggle with sarcasm, that was what that was.
Thank
just
you.
now.
I appreciate that. I don't understand sarcasm sometimes, so.
No, yeah. I try to make our podcast accessible. I also try to make it less American-centric. Oops, sorry about this episode.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
world
why don't
was
you
mentioned once. It was mostly about America. Sorry. Very, very sorry.
Why don't we just grab our inch rulers and our wonder balls and and drive away on the right side of the road and while you're poking around there on pipedreampodcast.com, you can find links to our show's social medias and our Discord server. And you can send us an email at mysteryshacklookback@gmail.com. Send us conspiracy theories you got from Facebook. Or actually, don't do that, please.
The intro was performed by our very own Ella Cesare.
Who's that?
And written by Weirdithin J. Al Yankovic.
Song is Foil by Weird Al Yankovic.
That's a good one.
Basically in our DNA as a Pipe Dream podcast.
And Shelby, what do you want to plug?
I will go ahead and plug my very conspiracy unladen Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, which is Shelby Sessler, ShelbySessler. I'm probably going to have some cosplays from this coming out soon, because why not?
Ooh, yes.
I was in the new Strange Aeons video. Go to YouTube and just look up Strange Aeons. It's just the newest one that's been uploaded as of the date of this release. Check that out. I did some dramatic readings of Tumblr posts.
Ooh, do I get to plug something?
Yes.
I guess I'll put. I posted a little Gravity Falls related animatic yesterday, but it has spoilers in it, so be mindful of that. And generally, you can just find me at DrawnWithoutRef on the Twitters and the Instagrams for funny cartoon things.
Thank you to Charlie for making us sound great.
By the way, the reason you're hearing this the same day that the episode went out is not because we had any early access or industry exclusives.
Oh no, we're just normal people.
I just edited this all today.
No, we started recording at 9:30 in the morning, so that's fun.
So thank me for editing this same day. It was a lot of work.
I did.
Well, I'm saying the listeners are required to as well. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's all give a pause so they can all say that. Good job. And thank you, Shelby, for stopping by to talk to us about this cartoon.
No problem.
You definitely enhanced the experience, as you always do.
Oh, thanks. I will crawl out of my hole in the ground for you guys any day.
I'm gonna privately station myself at this grassy knoll.
Okay, can I go on in the other building?
I guess. I kind of wanted to be lone in this regard.
She was gonna be in a second location.
That's not very plausible.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why it works. No one would suspect that there were two. And soon you've got black helicopters coming across the border. Puppet masters for the New World Order. Be aware. There's always someone that's watching you, and still the government won't admit they fake the whole moon landing. Thought control race, psychotronic scanning, don't mind that. I'm protected cause I made this hat from aluminum foil. Wear a hat that's foil lined, in case an alien's inclined to probe your butt or read your mind. Looks a bit peculiar. Seems a little crazy, but someday I'll prove. There's a big conspiracy.